Yeah, one move, and it's my go-to move. It's the head nod, back and forth. Sometimes I do the whirlwind head nod. Sometimes I do just side to side. You're welcome. If you guys want lessons, $5 a month, I will teach you how to do the head nod. What is going on, crypto family, people? Happy Friday, and welcome back to Sin City Crypto Live. I am one of your co-hosts, David, and we are coming at you from our studio here. And for some reason, it's still raining, Las Vegas, Nevada, with our daily, only on the weekdays, live shows. Before we get into the content, quick disclaimer, nothing that anyone says on this channel should be taken as financial advice. So please, as always, do your own research. With that being said, I'd like to introduce you to your other co-host, Big Rob. What's up?
Hola! It's your boy, Big Rob, back in the house. Welcome to Sin City Crypto. If it's your first time checking us out, we are an entertainment-focused cryptocurrency channel where we take the old, the boring, the stale information, and we package it up in a fun and sexy way. Also, here at Sin City Crypto, we don't just do live streams. We also do deep dives, shorter content, YouTube shorts, and we're active on Twitter and Instagram. So make sure you check out all of our social media handles, which you'll find in the description. Now, if you could do us a favor and hit that like button. Yeah. How many likes we got on this thing yet? I don't have the metrics up,
15.
but it ain't enough. Ain't enough. So let's get some likes up on the channel. If you're not subscribed, you're new here, welcome to the club. Subscribe, do us a favor. Just subscribe. I'm not even asking. I'm telling. Subscribe. If you don't like us, you can unsubscribe in about a few days. Watch a few episodes, and if it ain't for you, just tune us out. Now,
or just, if you don't like Robin, you like me, just mute Robin when he talks, and then you'll be fine.
Awesome. Well, big day today, end of the week. I'm excited for the weekend. Are you excited?
We got a absolutely packed show for you today. If you're watching us after the fact, we will have timestamps provided so you can navigate freely, but we always recommend watching from beginning to end so you don't miss out on any great content. Today, we're starting off the show with one of our favorites. CryptoStache will be joining us in about 10 minutes to talk about everything Metaverse, NFTs, and I have a very unique question I'm going to ask him and see what he would pick. And then followed up with our man Forrest joining us Friday, like he does every Friday, to break down the charts, talk about Bitcoin, altcoins. So we are super excited. With that being said,
if you guys have any questions or thoughts with the guests today, make sure you drop that in the chat, and then we'll try to forward those over. So yeah,
Robin.
Yes, you ready? All right. So real quick, let's get into a roll call.
Oh, the sneak peek.
All right. So with roll call, we got first in the chat. We got Robert Salazar, Nordy. Then we got, can I get a round of applause for Robert Salazar, please? All right. So then we got Crypto Yogurt, Broke Yoshi, Shizzy, Liquidated Shorts, Moby, Marky Mark. Then we got Brian Hamilton, Crypto Fanatic. We got K Factor, Yazin. Who else we got in Bino,
Penalty
Big
Kick.
Chili Willie, Servando. R.A. Daniel, David O, Terry, and Big D. PK up in here.
Why you loud?
Gang. All right. So, if you're new here, also say what's up so we can give you a shout out. Club limit today, 65. Get to 65 people. We're going to open up this damn club, do what Vegas does best.
Yeah.
Not only cryptocurrency.
Floods also. We do floods very well.
Monsoon weather as well. So, what Vegas does best.
Planet Hollywood flooded again. Worse than the first time.
We are going to have a David the Weatherman segment here because, man, this guy can't go one day without talking about the weather here in Vegas. Which is funny because normally it's all the same, hot and dry, and he's just like his personality. So, anyways, getting... you got anything else you want to add there,
no,
bro?
That's it, man. Go ahead.
Cool.
Yeah.
Let's do, before we get into the meat and potatoes.
You know, Rocco, why are you laughing? Why are you not backing me up, man? How many times do I back you up? Go ahead, Robin.
And then let's see.
What are the markets looking like?
Yeah, where are the markets looking like? Let's talk some crypto, baby. All right, so Bitcoin coming in over 24,000. So we are in that sweet spot. That Cinnamon Toast Crunch sweet spot. Now it is sitting at 24,000. We're gonna be testing this 25,000 here soon. Let's take a look at the 1 month chart. Now, so we're coming off of 19K just a month ago. So just think of all this positive price action that's happened just in the last few weeks. We did test the 24,000, got rejected, and then retested the 20K mark basically. And now it seems as though 24,000 is now support, or at least it has been in the last 24 hours. I do think this is something that will, if we come into Monday over 24,000 and we don't have a major pullback, I do think that 25,000 and beyond is on the table. And then are you going to pull up any? We're going to let Forrest do all the charts.
Why the hell would I pull up a chart when we got Forrest on?
That's right. All right. So then also Ethereum, same case here. Testing the $1,900.
They moved it up to the 15th officially.
Yeah,
September 15th. The merge.
The merge.
A week.
Yeah, it went from
a month from Monday,
19th to the 15th, right?
A month from Monday, my friends. This is great news. I'm stoked.
You know, I think people, everyone's talking about with the merge, the implications of what it's going to be for price action with Ethereum and this proof of stake. I think people are forgetting how big the Ethereum ecosystem in general is. All of the NFT projects, all the Metaverse projects, all the DeFi, that's, total value locked, is so much money tied into Ethereum, not just on the base layer, but just on all of the dApps that it coincides with. And I think there's going to be a major pump on all of those. Now, also some of the some price action for the day. Huobi Global's token is up. The founder is looking at selling. His. Are we covering an article on that today? Okay. I won't spoil it, but some Huobi news coming up. Also, Celsius is up 5%. That's Chili's as well. Some of the biggest losers for the week, and then we got Anchor, Lido, Convex. All right, and then just to take a quick glance at the stock market, Nasdaq at 1.5% up. So just a really bullish week for Wall Street. And, as of lately, the NASDAQ has been following a Bitcoin or vice versa. So until we get a major decoupling, it's always a great, something good to take a look at. So, yeah, I mean, if you're looking for bullish sentiment, I mean, everything is on the table. I mean, you got Wall Street and tech stocks pumping. You got Bitcoin making higher highs and higher lows. You got a reversal in the inflation numbers here in the U.S. You got the Fed on straight vacation.
Money printer go brr.
Well, money printer is turned off right now,
but
because the Fed is Jerome Powell sitting on a beach right now. What beach do you think he's?
You think he's drinking a Mai Tai or a pina colada? Looks like a pina colada kind of guy.
No, he looks like a Johnny Walker Black, neat, no ice,
splash of Mountain Dew,
make it a double.
That's disgusting.
All right. That's all I got there. You want to bring the man on?
Hell yeah.
Let's go.
Hell yes.
All right.
Let's bring in the man. The myth, the legend, the mustache himself, CryptoStache. Bring him on. Yo.
Hey.
What is going on, guys?
Good, brother. How you doing, man?
I'm here doing it.
We've
Friday,
missed you.
I can't complain, man.
How can we complain in this bear market, right? How could you complain with that mustache you got? I don't know. You got nothing to complain about. Robin, on the other hand, has a lot to complain about.
I'm a perma-bull, man. I'm a perma-bull. This is how I roll, okay? Bear market, bull market, it don't matter. Stash don't stop.
Let me ask you this question.
Hold on, I got a better.
Hold on,
I got one here.
No,
hold on. It's a stash question. It's a stash.
I have a stash question.
Okay, hold on. Let's just. I'm forecasting into the future. Maybe like 10 Bitcoin cycles from now. You're like 80 years old. Your mustache is all white. You gonna keep a Colonel Sanders, or you gonna dye that thing?
Oh, dude, I'm going 100% Colonel Sanders, bro.
That's
Are you kidding me? That is gangster right there.
Okay,
straight up.
What chump what paper-handed, in Chad out there, like decides that he's gonna dye his mustache or his hair for that matter as he's getting older? Like, come on, man. Like,
I feel like
that's not how I'm gonna roll, man.
but that's
and as a matter of fact, I'm gonna get the tie and shit too, because that tie that he rocks, that he sports, that is old school gangster right there.
You're going full Colonel.
I think it's always a good use case for the old toothbrush. One, to clean shoes. Two, to dye mustache. Saying, throwing it out there.
I mean, I'll never know though.
So I wanted to ask.
Did you ask that question because you can visually see like the gray hairs in my mustache, like they're already here?
Are you throwing shade at our guest?
No. You got some nice color going in on there, man. I'm telling you.
I have a better question. Okay. If you could end the bear market right now and send Bitcoin to $250,000, but you got to shave your mustache.
Oh.
Okay. Well, okay. Now, follow-up question for that before I answer.
Okay.
How long does it stay at that number?
2 years.
2 years. I'm done. I'll for sure. I'll take the stash off. If I can make it happen for all of you guys out there, Stash will do it for you.
The man of the people. He is the man of the. Thank you, Rocco.
I would do it. But for you guys, nobody else.
We need more people like you in our space that, you're just a man of the people. We appreciate you. Thank you. All right. I don't want to waste any time.
I love it.
Before we get into some of the articles and topics, I kind of want your opinion. Some of the big things that have happened over the last week, the last couple weeks. Obviously, the whole tornado cash situation, the U.S. Treasury essentially banning it. You have the after effects, which is one of the articles we're going to talk about. But what are your thoughts? Just kind of share, when you heard the ban, what went through your mind? What were some of the first things that came to your mind?
I mean, the first thing that came to my mind was really like, do they really think this is gonna like work? Like, is this really like legit? Like, they've crossed so many lines with going this direction that it kind of like, I almost kind of just thought it was a little bit of a joke, right? But the biggest thing I think is the way they've gone about it is so sweeping and so broad and like gray area weird, which is kind of like the MO, I guess, with the United States and crypto in general. Like anytime they give us any kind of, anything, they're just like, well, we're going to give you some guidelines, but they're super loose and like lots of gray area and they're not very specific and we're not really going to give you much, so it's like, they're just barely throwing us some crumbs here. And with this tornado cash thing, I think the biggest thing that really struck me is the fact that, and this is something a lot of people put a light on, is that, that means that anybody could, essentially send you some send you some crypto that has been tornado cashed, and then now your wallet address is now going to be blacklisted because you have now interacted. You know what I'm saying? Like there's so many ways to there's so many ways to game what they have essentially, regulated here, that it's ridiculous the fact that they would even do this, and like then try and enforce it is ridiculous as well. And then on top of that, you're adding in the fact that this is the first time they've added like a piece of software code which is considered free speech under previous, acts and precedent that has been set. The whole thing is a whole tornado. It's a shitstorm of a tornado is what it really comes down to, man. So I don't know. I don't think that this is going to stick for very long, honestly. If it does, it sets a really nasty precedent in a lot of other ways too for just software in general. And so I think that it's definitely done a huge detriment in many different ways. And I really hope that it's not something that sticks around for a long time, because it could be bad for crypto as a whole. Because when these things set precedences like this, it opens up new doors, and then there's a lot of vulnerability, I think, in our industry. And I think that that's really what I'm the most afraid of. And so when I heard this and I saw the implications, I was like, man, this could be wide sweeping for the entire crypto industry, but not just crypto, but like software in general. People don't realize how big that could be, So very interesting development here, and you're gonna be watching that one pretty close.
Yeah, but here's the thing: they ban what is an internet protocol, and there is a founder behind it, but essentially it is a smart contract.
It's a code.
Yeah, it's a code, a smart contract. So you can still use, you can circumvent the whole thing, via VPN. For people that are, actively stealing, for the people that are trying to shut down, basically, the target user that they're trying to restrict, those people are already so tech savvy because they're infiltrating blockchains and understand code, that the fact that you're gonna not let them access it from from a network here in the United States, it seems like they didn't really do their own research, I think, or at least the effectiveness of it. And
they do research.
And
no, there's no research done. These guys are morons, dude.
Literally.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Come on, man. You're trying to give them the benefit of the doubt. You're like, well, there's been research. No, there's been no research. These guys are complete morons. They have no idea what they're doing. The shit they're throwing out there is literally just it's like throw a freaking pickle at the window, and is it going to slide down and stick? I don't know. We'll see. Like, they're just throwing shit out there, man. They don't even know what the hell's going on. They don't know what's going to stick.
I'm excited that maybe they feel satisfied with that. You know what I mean? Like, you know what? If you're gonna take something down, take down Tornado. If pat yourself on the back, you did Tornado Cash, cool. Now leave everything else alone.
You really think it's gonna stop there?
I mean, I don't know.
No.
Probably not.
But you guys are like, hell no.
Well, that was easy. Let's go ahead and try this one next. So let's try this one next. I mean, the SEC is out of control.
And that's what I mean. It sets this precedence, right? Where it's like, okay, well, if they accepted this and they're okay, and people are okay with it, what more can we get away with? What more can we do? And of all the things that you could go after, you could regulate and try and do something about, Tornado Cash is the one you go after. That's like think about the percentage of people really using Tornado Cash and like what they're using it for. And like, oh, we're trying to stop it because it's private transactions and then we don't know what they're doing. And like, that's the whole point, you fucking morons. You're not supposed to. That is the whole damn point, man. Like, why and so but once again, the reason why they're doing it really is because they're trying to push this long-term narrative of every transaction we're doing being a CBDC, right, where it's a central bank digital currency. We can track every single payment ever. And so they got to start now by trying to get rid of all the privacy shit, right? So that's an important thing. So they're starting now, trying to set precedents well far in advance. So when they actually go on the attack, they'll say, oh, no, we've already set the precedents here. It's already been a couple of years. You guys were cool with it. So, yeah, we're just going to go screw you even more.
Speaking of CBDCs, are you for or against?
100% against. But that doesn't mean that I don't think that they're not going to happen. Like, it's going to happen. Like, we're not going to be able to avoid it. Now, that doesn't mean that we, being forced to use their system is another thing.
Yeah.
And I think with Bitcoin and other crypto, we'll be able to opt out. But yeah,
there's going to be some positives that would come out of a CBDC. And obviously, it's, in my opinion, hugely outweighed by the negatives. But, if some, godsend way we could have a situation where we could have CBDCs as an option and we could, pick and choose when to use it, that could, not compromise our own privacy as far as, being mandated to use it. Basically, if I want to use it, I can. And then if I want to take a CBD that you give me, I can actively sell it and go, buy any other token. I think that's ideal. I mean, there could be some positives to it, but I mean, overall, it scares the crap out of me.
Well, bro, so you say there's positives too. I mean, like, I could cut my dick off right now, and then you'd be like, "Oh, but I'm sure there's a positive there." It's cool. There's it's mostly bad, guys, mostly bad. But there's probably some sort of silver lining in you cutting your cock off. I mean, that's what you're saying right here, man. I don't really get it. Like, is there a positive? Like, not really. What's the positive?
For me,
I guess maybe like quicker transactions.
I was thinking quicker chat. So my thing is that it can. If the government, say the Fed and the central banks, and then also to the banks, if they just used it as a form of exchange and a payment rail between their own banks to make things more efficient, and didn't go down to the civilian, I think it could. That is the one exception I can see.
They already have that in place, though. The whole reason for a CBDC is essentially everyone will have an account at the Fed, where right now it's only commercial banks that have accounts at the Fed.
Yeah.
And some of these primary dealers. So for me, it's like, think about all the people that are either on government assistance or get tax returns. If they implement a CBDC, they can pay you like, all right, if you want your tax return, you're going to have to get in a CBDC. Now, what do you have to do? You have to go create an account at the Fed, and now they can see everything you spend your money on. They can pause your account. They will have full control. I hate the idea of a CBDC, but I'm with you, Stash. I think it's essentially inevitable.
It's inevitable, and I just hope that when it does come, it's basically just pigeonholed into the government using it with the banking system,
Not gonna happen.
just leave it there. But I do think it's going to trickle down. Yeah,
the goal here is more control, and if anybody thinks it's anything different, then you're definitely misguided, and they've pulled the wool over your eyes like they've done to the majority of people in this country, honestly, and around the world, man.
And people will just accept it.
Yeah, they just accept it, right? And that's what I'm saying. So governments always continually want more control. Like there's no government who's like, yeah, no, it's cool. We're gonna just give some of that control back to the people. That sounds like a great idea. Like no government ever said this shit, right?
So we had the best example was the lockdowns a couple of years ago.
Yeah, right, exactly. Anything new that they can use to kind of control populace, they will. And financially controlling people like this, think about the combinations of like what we've seen here with COVID and how they've been able to control the narrative using infectious disease. Couple that with CBDC. And you're right. And then like doing things like like quick tracking things.
Yeah.
Like you're saying, hey. I'm sorry, guys. I know that our economy is in the shitter. We're in a recession. We're gonna have some more stimulus payments coming at you, but you gotta join this new system.
Yep.
I know everybody's hurting, but you gotta join this new system.
Yep.
So all this, if you guys think all this shit is not connected in some sort of way, all these plays are very much well connected, and they're all towards the same goal: more control underneath our government over what's going on, with the people of the United States and their finances and their not only the way they spend their money, but the way they're voting and all these other things too. So it's a shitstorm, man.
You're 100% right.
With the kind of stay on regulation and just control. The SEC has come out a few times and referenced NFTs possibly being securities and needing to be regulated. Do you think that is also inevitable? And if so, what does that look like? Or do you think they're just gonna, if you're, an Ethereum token, then we just treat you like an Ethereum, like you're an Ethereum asset? Or do you think it's gonna be, hey, all NFTs you play in this box and you're regulated this way? Or do you think it's just too early to tell what that's gonna even look like?
Yeah, I don't think. It's going to be hard to like do individual regulation based upon each kind of token. So I think there's going to be regulation in that kind of regards. It's going to be very sweeping. So yeah, I mean, like anything that applies to Ethereum would apply to all Ethereum based tokens, right? So
yeah,
it's to really know what direction they're going. I don't know. It's a hard call. I wish I was like, oh yeah, they're going to do this. But really, we've seen such slow uptick with regulation for just crypto in general, just basic crypto shit, that we didn't see anything with DeFi. Like, they're already 5, 6, 7, 8, almost a decade behind when it comes to regulation of this asset class. Just Bitcoin, just the basics, like the top 3. You know what I'm saying? Bitcoin, Ethereum, and the top stablecoin. Like, they still don't have regulations on that shit. So do I think that regulation is coming to NFTs in a broad sweeping way? Like, I don't think they're going to get there that soon. No, I think it's going to be a while before we really see actual regulation for NFTs like this. I don't see them. Well, if anything, like it'll be like a sweeping, a bullshit ass, like gray area thing like they've done already with crypto. And they're just like, oh, we consider NFTs collectibles. And they'll just say some random ass shit like that. Now they just have to follow it as a collectible if you had a comic book that you bought.
Don't forget, they have to spend 6 months arguing like 5-year-olds over who gets what. I want the laptop. No, I want the laptop. Okay, you can have the laptop if I get a cucumber. Yeah. Like you're forgetting that too. Okay, let me ask you about Blackrock. Okay, I talked about this and I said the Blackrock deal signifies the death of Bitcoin in the sense of what he had in mind when he created Bitcoin and introduced it to the world in 2008, 2009. The idea of peer-to-peer, let's take control back of our money, of our finances. I think this BlackRock deal kills that idea of Bitcoin. Where do you land? Obviously, for price action, this is great. But just overall, maybe if you want to talk about the ethos of Bitcoin and crypto, like what are your thoughts on this BlackRock getting into the crypto space, but more specifically Bitcoin?
Yeah. I mean, it's a big move. They got a shit ton of money, like way more money than like, like to play with than anybody. Right. So if you guys ever play poker, I mean,
yeah, we in Vegas, baby.
Right? I would assume you guys are poker players, maybe not, but I'm sure you played at least once or twice. You ever been playing against the guy with the big fat stack, and he just starts leaning on all the little guys, dude? Because that's what you do when you have the biggest, fattest stack. You swing it around like the big dick in the room, and you knock everybody else out. You know, and that's exactly what BlackRock is going to do. It's that simple, man. When you have the biggest stack in the room, you can do pretty much whatever you want. Manipulate the market in any kind of way that you want, especially a small growing market like this, right? Where manipulation is rampant, and you know, people are doing it because there's not really any major regulation, and so it's kind of this like catch-22. Like, we know that the Bitcoin market is being manipulated, but you know, what's going to help stop it? Well, maybe regulation will help stop. But then you look at like regulation right now for stocks and other assets, right? And this shit happens all the time. We see companies being reprimanded and having to pay $1 million fees all the time because they went against this, and they're like, they were doing insider trading, or they had, you know, or there was some other thing that they did that you know, that they shouldn't have been doing, money laundering, whatever it is, and they just pay these fees all the time, and like it's not promoted. No one talks about it. It doesn't hit the media. Right. And they just continue to rinse and repeat and keep doing this. Right. So these major organizations that have large assets to be able to work like this, they can pretty much do whatever the hell they want. And so we think, oh, well, regulation will help. Right. So if BlackRock is coming in and we get regulation, guys, and that will help us. And we won't, there's no way to be able to manipulate the markets. Well, that's bullshit. They have enough money to manipulate away and then pay the fee after the fact. They'll still make a profit, and we've seen that already, right? We've seen that already with companies doing.
What scares me is with BlackRock is that this is all trading on their Aladdin network, and so this is pretty much just accessible to their high net worth individuals and institutions, basically. And so you're shunning out the individual investor, and then on top of that, you know, you have a lack. So what you were referencing is that we have a lack of liquidity, volume, and just market cap. And so you have a big player here that can pretty much control the market. And what I always go back to is I'm like, hey man, if you have institutions and you have big ass players like BlackRock, one of the biggest companies, the largest investment firms out there, you know, behind Bitcoin, it's time to get the ETF going. Because essentially what that does is it brings other players into the market, increases the volume, and it decreases basically the control that one company can have. And so as people drag their feet, like, you know, the SEC, this is going to be more advantageous to the companies that can circumvent the you know, the SEC's ruling by having their own personal trust or having, you know, their own products offered on their own network to their multi-trillion dollar portfolio assets. And so, I don't know, man. I think we're in a scary spot, man. My personal opinion. I'm not at all a fan of this. I think if the SEC was behind an ETF, it could be good because you could diversify some of this money. But I don't know, man.
No, and you make a good point. You know, I think the ETF is definitely something that, you know, it needs to hit the market. You know, I'm not all like ETF. Yeah. I mean, at a certain point, you're right. It makes sense. Like, it just needs to happen. And I think that we need to have that. I also do think we do need regulation for crypto. I think we need, you know, actual thoughtful regulation. And the problem is we won't get it. You know, we'll get regulation from people who are just ill-informed, from senators that have a million issues on their desk, and this is one small one, and they're going to try and regulate it, and they have people that they're working on, but these people don't really understand it either because they're the only people who want to spend the time with these stupid ass senators to try, you know, like there's so many problems. It's a multifaceted problem. And so regulation will come. Will it be beneficial for us as people? Probably not. It'll benefit the corporations and the hedge fund managers and the big players. That's how it always is. Every time there's regulation, it doesn't benefit us. You know, being a credited investor here in the United States is what you need to access all the really great investment vehicles, but you can't do that unless you're super wealthy already, or, you know, or maybe you're working already for a company that allows access to things like that. But you know, it's just crazy that you know, how things operate here with regulation, and how little thought is given to the common man, and how much preference is given to wealthy people already. You know, how they regulate for wealthy people.
So I want to talk some little NFT brainstorm thought experiment here. So have you heard of Midjourney? Have you heard of this before? Midjourney. It's an AI-driven art software generation protocol. And so not anything to do with crypto, essentially. I mean, it could tie into crypto. But here, pull up my laptop so you can take a look at this. So this right here, this is called Midjourney. So it's a software that basically runs on on Discord. And so you access it through Discord, and what it does is their computer systems, they take keywords that you would type into the Discord, into like a prompt, and then from there, their software goes out and scours the internet and puts together their own art. And so basically, you can take a look here. This is some of these are all generated, one of ones generated by an AI computer, just simply from keywords. From keywords that it pulls from the internet. So here you have young woman with long pink hair, hiking clothes, tank tops, backpack, Norway, cinematic, whatever. And then here you can just, here's a angry duck photorealistic cinematic 4K. And this is what the AI software pulled and decided to create. And so, I also, so I was messing around with this, just a quick, I put in a CryptoStache, Star Wars vintage poster, and this is what it spit out, just as an example.
That one's pretty cool. That's pretty badass, man.
Yeah.
I mean, I love technology and art like this, and I think that there's a lot of cool things you can do with it, man. I think it's pretty cool.
So yeah, when you type in, it gives you like 4 prototypes, and then from there you can scale up the basically the resolution. And then here was a different one. This one was more like a antique blueprint, like mythological kind of thing. So just some little different insights there. But so the reason I wanted to bring this up was the fact that you can generate about 1,000 pictures, and I'm done with the laptop there, Rocco. So you can generate about 10,000 pictures to be exact, which is kind of your standard NFT mint launch, and you can have each one become a unique piece of art. You could take an artist style, you can take example photos, so you can you could have an example of an ape, and then you could have you could draw, and then you could take different hats and accessories, and then you could let the AI software, instead of just replacing one asset, cut and paste, you can actually have AI software create, design, and put together an entire NFT portfolio for, and all of them be unique in their own way. And you can, you can even create, you can even use, like Leonardo da Vinci, Van Gogh,
Different style.
Yeah, any style you could think of. And so, it got us brainstorming. We were talking about this earlier this week. Could this replace the traditional artist? Is this something, because it kind of makes sense for the NFT, because obviously an artist isn't going to generally create 10,000 pieces of art. They're just going to kind of cut and paste, right? And so I think this might be something we see more of in the future. I mean, what are your thoughts on this just at first glance?
I mean, it's a cool tool. I think that it's going to be heavily used for like doing NFT like projects, not for generative ones, because you have to do them in a certain way. And so it really wouldn't work for a generative project. You'd have to have like your own kind of like proprietary setup that maybe used something similar to Midjourney AI, but was very specific, right? The thing about AI art, it's really cool because you can give it directions and things like that. But then you don't really, there's no controlling really of the outcome. You can give a bunch of keywords there, but you're really never going to know exactly what you're going to get. And then with art too, in particular, when it comes down to, someone requesting art, right? You're like, I have a vision in my head, and then I'm going to put the words down, and then the AI will give it to me. But then like to kind of keep regenerating that same vision, I don't know how that works on this platform, because you're like, okay, I want to adjust a little bit here, or this little thing here, And so to use AI in production like that, it's going to have to be able to take these kinds of iterative directions. And I don't know that Midjourney can necessarily do that on a production scale. So I think right now it's kind of cool to generate something fun, but I don't know that right now it's maybe ready for production status. I'm sure it could get to that point. I could definitely see something like this being used. Like this base technology being used in things like Unreal Engine, right? Stuff like that. So it can generate things, and then, maybe use it, you're pulling that and doing it in 3D, right? So think about something like that. So there are great implications, but like the same thing where you're saying, okay, a tree by a lake with so-and-so. Think about if you could do that with 3D environments for Unreal Engine.
Yeah.
And you could just type out what you wanted. You know, a tree by a lake, blah, blah, or feed in a couple things, and then it generates all that shit automatically without you having to go in there and do any of it. And the AI is essentially doing that, and you can spin it around. So, there, I mean, AI is definitely coming into a lot of production environments, and for the creative side, for sure. But I don't know that it would be I don't know that this would work the best for like a generative NFT.
Yeah, I hate this idea.
I'm thinking about like 5 years from now, man. And it could just be more. It could be music too, man.
This idea for art is so dumb. I mean, seriously, like, are we going to lose the human touch in everything we do? Like, Jesus Christ. Like, people like Leonardo da Vinci, Vincent van Gogh, all the artists, like, they made a name for themselves because they created the art, not some freaking computer software. If you're telling me there's an NFT line that's $600, I'm not going to go buy it if it's generated by a computer. Like, I buy the artwork for the artist and their vision and their creativity. Computer has no creativity. It just goes based off code. So
you spend a lot of money on your iPhone, don't you?
I know, but I'm saying,
man.
Does that mean I think that AI doesn't have a place? No, I just think it's dumb. I think it's stupid.
I think it's awesome, man.
Yeah, of course.
I love it, bro. I love it.
Yeah. All right.
Like let's get in. I think it's cool. I mean, I don't think that AI is going to like replace human creative endeavors at all. I think that anything really what it's going to do is just kind of help support them in a better way, right? So, you know, thinking about, like as a concept artist, we'll say, like, or a production concept artist, if I'm going to go through and concept art a bunch of stuff, like maybe you could use AI to like mix and match things around, like your style, but using an AI bot to then mix this thing around. So it's like, okay, well, you know, maybe I want to take what I've already done and remix it AI so I get a different looking guy or different thing. You know, it's for concept to like do concepts and iterate over them quickly. So I think that there's ways that we can use AIs as tools as artists, and they don't necessarily need to replace artists completely. You know, because you're going to get one certain thing with AI computer generated art with not much human input. You know, if they're just hashtags or keywords. So,
all right,
it's so cool.
Let's move on to some of the articles we're going to talk about today. So the first one I want to talk about, not sure if you saw this interview, Stash. It was on, I believe, the Altcoin Daily Brothers did it. Mark Cuban went on there and he talked about the metaverse. Virtual real estate is made up of designated pieces of code in an interactive web experience. Pieces of code are partitioned to create an individual plots with certain metaverse platforms and are made available to purchase as NFTs on the blockchain. Sales in 2021 reached $501 million. So this is referring to real estate in the metaverse. Now, this is what Mark Cuban had to say. The worst part is people are hooked on real estate in this metaverse. That's just the dumbest shit ever. The dumbest. Did I say dumb? No, that's not strong enough. Super meta, immaculately dumb. And then he goes on to say, I am an investor with Yuga Labs. What Yuga Labs did is smart. They're calling it real estate. So, I don't know. Yeah.
The dude, okay.
Go ahead, please.
All right, so Mark Cuban's done, man. Dude, stick a fork in that bro because he is done. The guy is I see it in his eyes, man. He's just it's over, dude. I don't know what the hell's going on in his brain, but yeah, to say that metaverse is the dumbest thing in buying land, and then in the same exact interview, simultaneously then praise Yuga Labs, who he's invested in, for doing the exact same thing. Like, he's saying it's super dumb, but I'm getting all you dumb suckers to buy into it and talk about it, so I can make some more money. Like, you know what I'm saying? So it's one of those things. Like, we see this all the time, man, of people who are invested in a certain thing, you know, swaying it one way or the other. I mean, he's obviously incredibly wrong, and his foresight is not that great these days. I think he's just kind of getting a little old, man.
So he makes an interesting argument. He said for him, the value of real estate is considerable because of scarcity. But in the virtual world, we really can't talk about the scarcity because anyone essentially can create their own metaverse, could create land.
Yeah, but you could theoretically create. You could theoretically create a bunch of metaverses, but the thing is like, you know, when you have the one go-to, that is going to be the scarcity. You can create as many copies as you want. It's the same thing with Bitcoin. You can fork Bitcoin 1,000 times, but people aren't going to use the original one or the one they truly believe in. Same thing can be said with the metaverse. You can have a bunch of pretenders, but you know, once you have that go-to platform that has the utility and the users, then that platform right there is going to have the scarcity.
Right. And here's a great example, right? So same thing. You have a lot of cities out there, right? There's a lot of cities. Well, some cities like housing is very scarce, and others it's not, right? And so same thing with metaverses, right? So the demand and the price for something, or the scarcity of it, right, it is really dependent on the platform you're in, the neighborhood or the city you're in, right? There's only so many plots in a city that you could actually have, and or theoretically, because the city could keep building and getting more and more plots, right? Like expanding if there's enough land, but at some point it's obviously going to hit a barrier there. Yeah, same thing. There's a ton of metaverses, but if it's the one metaverse, the one everyone's in, that everyone wants to be inside of, then that land is going to be more scarce and more desirable because of what it can give you, right? The benefits or the bonuses, whether that's advertising or building an experience or building a game or whatever it may be, right? Having some sort of stake in that metaverse. And it's the same here, people don't want to live in Alaska as much as they want to live in Southern California. So the scarcity and the desirability of that land is much less. And it'll be the same with all metaverses, right? The scarcity of each land is going to be much less. It's like, well, why would you pay for something like that? Well, because then I can trade it. I can trade it back and forth. And some people may see, the value in that, and others may not. And so it just depends on, like you said, where you're at, like what metaverse you happen to be in. If it's the sandbox or it's Decentraland, there's already people who value those plots pretty highly. Is that going to go down? Are there going to be less people valuing those plots as those IPs and those brands continue to rise and more people are using the actual platform to play them? Of course not. So scarcity in these types of things is actually very absolute versus what it is in real life with real estate, where you see there's only so much land. And you're right. There is only so much land out there on Earth, right? And same thing with these, metaverses. They're saying there's only going to be so much there, and the code says that. And so that's something you kind of have to trust. And so if you're trusting in code in almost every other aspect of your life, why would this be any different?
And then what happens if you have your plot of land and then it's in Florida over there by the swamp waters, and the water rises because due to the icing the melt caps or the snow caps melting,
or earthquake,
hurricane come over, blow your whole thing over. I mean, it's
I would say a tornado, but they banned it. All right.
Right. I mean, and then so the statement is even funnier to think about like this, right? So you think that there's no scarcity in the metaverse, right? With this kind of code, but you're okay with Bitcoin, and you don't, and you're like, oh well, scarcity, sure. Well, Bitcoins are out there. Who cares? And like, it's not like real money or real dollars where there's real scarcity. Like, it just sounds so stupid and antiquated when you put it that way.
He takes Dogecoin for payment and SHIB for payment at his freaking basketball games. Or I don't know about SHIB. I know he takes Doge.
Doge for sure.
Yeah, and I'm like, dude.
It's all about money, man. He doesn't, like I said, his opinion is not indicative of like what he does to make money.
But his opinion is indicative of what this legacy investors and legacy finance is thinking about. Like when you talk
exactly.
Metaverse.
So he's going to say and do whatever is going to protect his money. And right now, people think the metaverse is dumb. And so until that narrative changes, and then then he'll be like, "We love the metaverse. It's amazing. We're building a metaverse for our team." Like shit like that. So it'll 100% happen, just like we saw with Jamie Dimon. Early days of Bitcoin, he's calling it a scam. It's the worst thing ever. And he'd say, it's the dummy. Anyone buying Bitcoin's a moron right now, right? And then after 2 or 3 years of him saying this, he totally reversed, and now they're taking Bitcoin, and they have Bitcoin as part of their whole offering. You don't think that's going to happen here with Cuban? Like,
same thing with Larry Fink of Blackrock. He did the same thing. I believe it was in 2019, he was saying Bitcoin's just a money laundering scheme, and look at them now.
Everyone who ever said it and everyone who ever thought even silently is going to reverse their decision on this, because they'll have no damn choice. And all these companies are starting to see that now, and they're like, all right, do we want to be the last ones? Do we want to be the last ones that are saying Bitcoin is a scam and banning it and not including on our platform? Do we want to be last? That's what they're now thinking. Not hey, we don't want to be first, because being first it puts you too much in the spotlight. Now people are thinking we don't want to be last. And we're not there with Metaverse yet, but we will be.
I believe it was Ricky Bobby said, if you're not first, you're last. Was that Ricky Bobby?
That's right. You can't be two number ones.
That's right.
There can't be two number ones. That'd be 11.
All right. Let's move on.
Great philosopher there.
Thank you. Yes, very good. So next piece of news I want to talk about is Axey Infinity. So they are apparently cutting their rewards from their original game. That's Robin's laptop. Okay. Essentially forcing the players to a new game. So they've completely removed the token rewards from its classic game to attract its users to a new game mode called Axey Infinity Origin. The team announced that starting Friday, there will be no more Smooth Love potions to be minted on its classic mode. The rewards will be migrated to their new game mode. The team will also enable using SLP to graft various in-game boosts such as runes and charms in the new mode to add utility to Smooth Love Potion. Is this a desperation move? Like, what are your initial thoughts when you kind of heard and saw this?
Axey's dead.
Dead? Done. Really?
But it's like a slow motion explosion. Yeah, exactly like that, but like really slow.
It's a desperation move. It's a desperation.
Yeah, man. I mean, honestly, dude, their economy has been broken for a long time. They had a big pump last year, you know, with a ton of players and their token price going crazy. But they just have not kept up with development. They haven't done the things they needed to do. There are so many holes in this ship that I don't know why anyone would still be riding on it. But you're gonna ride that thing to the ocean floor. I can guarantee that, man. Axey is not going to come back from what's happened. You know, they had one of the biggest hacks on their bridge, and it showed, and it was just another stepping stone in showing how lackadaisical they've been with the development of their code. They're just not good at what they're doing. They just happen to have something early on that hit, but they're not. But the team itself is just not good at what they do. They just aren't, man.
At base value, the Axey game never really evolved. It kind of stayed, you know, in the exact same blueprint format it was, which, you know, as you mentioned, you know, had popularity, but, you know, they didn't expand, do different versions. They didn't really upgrade the game itself. And I think they were just, you know, happy collecting money, just thinking that they can ride that train forever. And, you know, I do think maybe they can. I mean, it is a desperation move doing this, but at least they're breaking away from their base game. Then that's the only thing they had in their portfolio. And so maybe they could come out of this. I mean, it's better than doing nothing, I guess.
Really, though. But they're not really. I mean, like when you say breaking away from the base game, like if you guys are not Axey players, like Axey Infinity or Origins, right, is really just like a slight improvement from what they already had. It's the same game. It just
played
the
original
a bunch
one.
Of shit to it. They're trying to do, because they knew that the way the original one worked, it was set up for failure from the get go. It didn't scale, and so they knew that. And so this next version, Origin version, right, is just really just kind of like adding more shit on top of it, right? And so I just don't see this game being around for much longer.
Okay. I haven't played.
Have the time to shine.
I haven't played or even really looked into what the new one looks like. So I played the old one. So it's kind of like a copy and paste with just a little bit of upgraded features for the most part.
Upgraded graphics. They added some new stuff to it. Right. Yeah. It's like the revamped version, you know, it's the next version or evolution of the same game. So they just wanted to call it something
like
different.
Classic.
But really, yeah, exactly. Well, it's like, no, ETH Classic is like original Axey Infinity, and then Ethereum would be Axey Origins, right?
Gotcha.
Or actually Origins. So I don't know, man. I just don't see a big future for Axey. I was never a big fan of what they were doing anyways, and I just think that, you know, what they pioneered worked in a smaller ecosystem, but it doesn't work in a bear market. It doesn't work with a large player base, and people are just what they had and what made them cool and popular. They couldn't sustain it. So I don't see them sticking around in the long term.
If Axey's not it, is there a play to earn game you are super bullish on, like right now?
Yeah, I mean, definitely. You know, when it comes to play to earn, it's a rough industry right now, because I think that with that model, it's a really hard thing to find what works, right? And so I think everyone that's in the play and earn space is trying to find out how to make this work, is iterating over the process. And Axey Infinity definitely led the way with that. Now, I would say that we're at a point right now at a kind of a crossroads where, you know, there's a lot of games coming in and a lot more iteration happening. And so hopefully we're going to get to that point where the play to earn rewards work flawlessly. We're like, all right, we know this system works. Everyone just use it. And we're not really there yet. But the one I think that has done the best, in my opinion, is Splinterlands. Splinterlands is the OG play and earn game. They're around before Axey Infinity, if people don't know this. And they have a much better everything. I mean, every feature, every system, everything they do is a million times better than Axey Infinity. And they have proven that they can scale in a bear market, in a bull market, multiple times over. You know, it just, yeah. So in comparison, Splinterlands is a much better play and earn game. So if you guys like, look to play to earn games, I mean, Splinterlands is definitely one of the best ones out right now.
I'm gonna check it out. Yeah.
Splinterlands.
Yeah, I think that when it comes to play to earn, I think that you're gonna have the AAA franchises are going to stumble upon it. I think they're gonna start offering their own currency in games and offering buy NFT skins and things of that nature. And I think as a byproduct of it, they're gonna have different features that let you earn, without you even realizing it. Like, say you purchase a skin and then you turn around and sell it later on because of its scarcity, and then you generate money, and then they're generating royalties on those perhaps for every transaction. And I think that slowly, I think when you get these AAA franchises getting into blockchain, getting into NFTs, getting into microtransactions, I think they're going to see the positive monetary value that they can pull out of these games. And I think that's where we're going to see like a lot of play to earn. And I think it's going to just slowly transition in. But how do you feel about AAA and NFTs? I know there's a big pushback from the gaming community when it comes to their big, well-known franchises dabbling in NFTs. Do you think that's inevitable coming, or do you think it's going to be two separate markets that kind of maybe cross paths in the future?
No, it's already coming. I mean, we're already seeing AAA games coming to the blockchain, for lack of a better, but becoming Web3, right, is really what it comes down to, is seeing traditional games adding Web3 components. And so one of the biggest ones to make waves here recently is Dr. Disrespect's new game he's working called Dead Drop. And this is a AAA first-person shooter, that is being developed by a top, Midnight Society, which is Dr. Disrespect's new game development studio, who is, he has some top people he's working with, man, in this industry. So when you talk about AAA and a high-quality game, we are starting to see NFTs being incorporated. And so he's kind of leading the way, I think, in kind of that effort as far as like high visibility and high profile, like from the beginning. Now, we've seen other development studios like Ubisoft also incorporate some NFTs and try that out on some levels. We've seen Epic embracing NFTs in multiple different ways, saying that they'll accept NFT-enabled games on their store, even though Steam won't. So they're kind of taking that opposite stance, and then they're going to be releasing some titles on their store too, like coming soon, called Grit. And then also Play Blancos is coming to Epic Store as well, which is also an NFT-enabled game. So there are a lot of games out there, I think, that are in early stages of development too, that are going to be at that level and will incorporate NFTs. In the next 5 years, we'll see most games incorporating this technology in some sort of way.
Speaking of Dr. Disrespect, are you a fan of his mustache? Because that man's got a thick one. He's got that he's got that like 80s stash,
you know what? I gotta say, like, I am a fan of Doc. I will say we got a little bit of mustache rivalry going on though, man. Ooh. Because I ran into the dude on the streets of New York
on Twitter, yeah.
And we had a mustache throwdown right there, dude. And like, I kind of stumped him. He looked at me, I looked at him, and I was like, "What's up, man?" And he was like, "Yeah, I think maybe you got to be beat." But he didn't want to say. You can't say on record that someone got him beat by that. But like, he was like, all right, yeah.
That's funny. I don't know, man.
So yeah, we had a little bit of throwdown there. So
I wouldn't be surprised.
Friendly rivalry, we say, right? Secret Agent Stash versus Dr. Disrespect. We'll see.
I wouldn't be surprised if he's putting a little dye in that thing. I'm just throwing it out there. It looks like he got the toothbrush dye, bro. I'm just saying.
Could be dyeing. It could be dyeing, man.
All right, Stash. Before we let you go, is there anything you want to talk about or end on? Anything happening in the world of CryptoStache? Anything new and exciting coming out on your channel? Anything kind of leave it up to you.
The hotness, the newness. So yeah, I am, like I said, always streaming almost 5 days a week. So 4 days a week, we're live streaming video games, some of your favorite Web3 games, talking about NFTs, the Metaverse on my shows with some of your favorite creators as well. So make sure you subscribe to me on YouTube. But also look for some cool things coming soon. So we're relaunching our NFT live stream game. That is going to be relaunching here in September. Okay. So it's something that we like soft launched last year in October, and then it just didn't work out very well. And so we went back to the drawing board and revamped the entire thing. And so now that's going to be launching here in September. And it's a fun way to interact with my live streams using NFTs. And so that's kind of fun. So that's coming up here pretty soon. And we've been working on a game for the sandbox. So we have a Secret Agent Stash game that is going to be launching in the sandbox in the next 6 months or so. So that's kind of fun too. And yeah, other than that, man, just if you guys want to know more about NFTs or the metaverse and the best Web3 games, check me out. YouTube at CryptoStache, there, Twitter, everywhere else.
Absolutely. And, we tell our community, we work on bringing high profile, high level guests on the show all the time. All we ask of you guys is go support these people. They literally ask for nothing in return. CryptoStache's YouTube channel. The link is in the description of this video. Please make sure you go subscribe. Also, go follow him on Twitter at CryptoStache. Sir, we just want to thank you so much again for taking the time and blessing us with your knowledge and your personality. So we appreciate you. We look forward to bringing you on again. Robin doesn't do love. He's and you have a
what direction is this guy?
Yeah. What's a heart?
See,
What's
this
a
is my
heart?
special. This is my special mustache, loves, because I get the heart. I get the heart mustache right in the middle of the heart. So you got mustache love.
Trademark right there, bro.
Awesome, some pearly whites back there too.
Yeah. Well, have a great weekend, brother. Thank you so much again. We appreciate you.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Take care.
Appreciate it.
We're going.
All right. That was great.
Always brings the juice, man.
Always.
Always brings the energy, the juice.
We're not like I'm not the metaverse NFTs like super expert, so it's nice to have someone who's in it every single day, playing the games, doing stuff. So again, please go make sure you support CryptoStache. Before we bring our main man Forrest on to do some market watch and TA, there's an article I want to talk about. So you want to pull up my laptop, Rocco? So MakerDAO should seriously consider depegging their DAI stablecoin from the United States dollar. MakerDAO founder Rune Kirstensen has urged members of the Decentralized Autonomous Organization, aka DAO, to, quote, seriously consider preparing for a depeg of its DAI stablecoin from the United States dollar. The founder's comments came in light of the recently announced sanctions on crypto mixer Tornado Cash. The sanctions are, quote, unfortunately more serious than I first thought. This is from the founder. They should prepare to depeg its native stablecoin DAI from the USD to avoid any risks relating to Circle's recent freezing of sanctioned USDC addresses. Around 50% of the DAI is collateralized by USDC. The founder also raised concerns over the asset's heavy reliance on a centralized asset like USDC, as Circle has shown that it will act in accordance with U.S. law in the case of Tornado Cash. Robin. Whoa. So they want to essentially, I don't know if he's saying prepare or they want to or what's going to happen, but MakerDAO is one of the largest stablecoin issuers in the entire crypto space. Do you think they have a case? Like, do they have a point? They're saying we're worried that Circle was so quick to go along with what the U.S. government said that we're worried 50% of our collateral is locked up into a company like that. Do they have a reason to worry? Are they overblowing this? Like, what are you?
I mean, but where are you gonna collateralize that is free of government? That's what I'm saying. So if you're gonna play in this space, you're already taking undue risk from the get go. Unless you want to collateralize with Bitcoin because you know that's the safest asset. But I mean, Circle, they are heavily invested by BlackRock as well. They have tons of
institutional money.
They have tons of institutional money. They already work with the government in different areas, and so I mean, if not USDC, where are you gonna go?
Right.
You get what I'm saying? So it's like, what option is better?
Tether?
No,
I mean,
so
yeah.
I mean, you could maybe U.S. bonds.
Ship.
You know, you could go to the bond market. You can go outside of crypto, but then how quickly can you exit out of the bonds? You know, to provide liquidity. I mean, you have to have liquidity in crypto because
right.
you got to facilitate transactions, have exit liquidity, especially with big market swings. So I don't really know what they're thinking.
And remember, this is also
I see what they're saying, but I don't understand what their recourse would be.
And remember, MakerDAO was also like 2 days ago saying that they want to get off of USDC and collateralize it with ETH.
With ETH, which is probably
worse. Is it worse?
Well, that's probably their thinking. They're like, hey, we don't trust USDC. Maybe they just want to go with something that's decentralized. But we already saw what happens when you leverage the crap out of ETH in the form of the Lido finance. I don't know. I feel like even though ETH is here to stay, or at least it seems to be, as you're still you're taking way too much risk. You're putting all of your collateral behind something that could theoretically go down. It was only 5 years, 5 or 6 years ago that ETH forked. So it's not out of the realm of possibility that something like that would happen again. And if you're holding all your collateral in said asset, I mean, I don't know, man. I feel like they're making some weird decisions.
That's what I'm saying.
I would be weary getting
holding DAI.
It feels like there's a lot of uncertainty at the top. And with their, what you don't want in a stable coin is uncertainty when it comes to the founders,
literally
the developers.
The name is stable.
Yeah, and it's like, dude, man, I don't know about all that.
I don't know either. You mentioned bonds. Is there anything else you can think of that?
No, you gotta go. Right? I mean, you could do literally. I don't know if you work with maybe a bank that offers, crypto collateral of some sort.
That's above my pay grade.
I don't know, man. I can only speculate what someone's next course of action would be, but I mean,
it's just not worth taking the risk. If you're holding the Maker token, or if you're holding DAI,
you don't want to see founders redrawing the baseline fundamentals,
the foundation of
a stable coin. Where are they at on the CoinMarketCap list? They're like top 10 or 20?
No, DAI is not top 10. Maker DAO.
DAI is number 14 on the CoinMarketCap.
Is it really? Yeah. And Maker is number 51.
So their stable coin is number 14 with $7 billion in TVL. Or market cap, net worth, not TVL, but
yeah, guys. If you're holding DAI,
I just think it's a little worrisome. Yeah, you want to hear like the founders of Tether, even though Tether is kind of a worrisome project as well. At least the founders are like, yeah, we're good, bro. Like, leave us alone. Like, ain't nothing here to see. And then you got another project. They're like, yeah, we don't trust this market. Like, what do you mean you don't trust this market? Right. Come on, bro.
I don't know. We'll see. Interesting. We will keep an eye on this for you guys. And then one more article I want to talk about, unless Forrest is ready.
Yeah, he's ready.
He's ready. Oh, perfect. Forrest, let's bring on our man. Forrest Friday.
Hey guys, thanks for having me on.
Hey man, thank you so much for joining us, and thank you so much for bumping the time back to 11:30. We really appreciate it. You always go out of your way to help us out, so we truly appreciate it. And we are excited. I have a calendar at my house. I've been marking down the days until I get to see you. So T-minus 3 days. Kidding, of course.
Is it one of those calendars where you eat the chocolates every day, like for Christmas?
The Christmas calendar. They're peppermint York patties in there. The York one. Do you like York peppermint patties, by the way?
They're all right.
Yeah.
6 out of 10.
No, you got mint.
Delicious,
mint
bro.
And
9 out of 10.
Get out of here,
9
man.
out of 10.
Like, stop
9 out of 10.
Yeah, you got to go like hazelnut and chocolate. That's a good combo.
Nutella is the bomb. All right, Forrest. I don't want to waste any time. ETH, they moved the merge up from the 19th to the 15th. Are you as surprised as I am?
Honestly, I think the dates were originally August. They said they might push it back. Seems about right. I mean, I wouldn't have been surprised if it would have ended up being like October or November, but I'm pleasantly, I guess, surprised to see that it's on track. So yeah, maybe slight surprise, but nothing too crazy. I'm going according to plan. Fingers crossed, right? Nothing to be concerned about yet.
Are you still stacking Ethereum, or have you slowed down on the buying?
I've turned the DCA off. I have put up some of my a few more NFTs for sale. I'm trying to squeeze out as much Ethereum as I can pre-merge. We'll get into the charts in just a second. Yeah. I think there's a scenario where people get caught off guard. I think there's a scenario. I'll present the bullish scenario. Let's put it that way.
Yes. Now, speaking of NFTs, I saw you guys just got something with Polygon, right? With Disco Kitties?
Yeah. So we haven't made like an official announcement yet, or tweet or a blog post.
Oh, my bad. Sorry. I saw it in the Discord. That's why.
Oh, no. Yeah, no worries. It's not like super secret or anything like that.
Okay.
Disco Kitties, yeah. So we are going to be launching a collection on Polygon. We will also launch a collection on Ethereum. And yeah, so with your Polygon collection, you'll be able to listen to earn Polygon or Matic tokens, and with Ethereum, you'll be able to listen to earn Ethereum. It'll probably be wrapped Ethereum on Polygon, but yeah, we're accepted into like Polygon Studios like partnership program where they haven't invested anything yet. They do have an investment fund. They do have a grants fund. We're not there yet with them, but we are in like their partnership program where they support us with technical or they give us technical support as well as marketing support. So
That's amazing.
yeah, maybe if you follow them, you might see a tweet from them soon.
You want me to put out the good word?
Yeah.
I have not know anyone at Polygon. I'm just kidding. That's exciting stuff, man. Congratulations. That was awesome. When I saw it in the Discord, I got super excited. So that's great.
Yeah, it's slow. I mean, it's slow to build, but we'll get there. We'll get there.
Well, here's the thing, right? And we know from experience, and you know too, like when we decided to build this channel and build our community, we decided to do it the organic way. We're not paying for subscribers. We're not paying for Twitter followers. We're not paying for ads. We're just putting out a great product and we're using our presence, social media, whatever. And I know you're doing the same thing with your NFT, but here's the thing. If you build a foundation from the ground up and it's a solid foundation, it will have longevity. If you just go based off of hype, you buy followers, you buy media, whatever the case may be, sure, you'll have a few people make money on the way up and then everything eventually will come crashing down, right?
Yep. 100%.
Just a problem that people just don't have patience. It's like crypto is this world of I want it right now, and if I don't, it's a terrible project. It's a scam. It's a rug pull. Dude, things take time, man. Things take time. So
you see that just in somebody getting in on a project and being upset they didn't get 2 extra turns within
like
1 month.
in an hour.
Yeah.
Like, come on, dude. Like, you want some solid.
That's just
like,
the psyche of the young investor that's inexperienced, that is first time dabbling in crypto.
Well, which majority of people who invest in crypto are those young, inexperienced investors.
But then, though, those people do evolve into the hodlers and the Bitcoiners and the people that get really deep into Metaverse and
Eventually.
NFTs. Yeah, so I think that's just the normal calling, is that you go in, you make some stupid trades or buy something dumb, and then if anything, you learn, and then you come back a little wiser the second time around.
Yeah.
Third time around, fourth time around. So.
Okay. All right, Forrest, we are handing this channel off to you, my friend.
Awesome. Let me share my screen. There we go. Can you guys see my screen okay?
Yes, sir.
Awesome. Okay, so what's happening with Ethereum right now, even in the short term, is a little bit bullish. So I want to kind of dive into Ethereum on the short term first, and then we can take a look at the long term. I will say, I just want to zoom out on the Ethereum chart real quick, and we don't have data on Binance going way too far back. But Ethereum has a tendency to be very painful when it is an uptrend in terms of not giving good entry points. By that, very frequently, Ethereum will trade in this very tight range and grind upwards and not give you a deep correction very frequently. So even in the bull market, we'd see these periods of time, especially when we came out of last summer's crash here around $1,800. It was just a slow, steady grind up, and you did not get so much. I mean, we're on the daily here. You had one red day for about 3 weeks, and even then it was just kind of chopping sideways, not giving you a steep correction, giving you maybe 5 or 6% off its recent highs. And it wasn't until weeks later actually saw a correction, a 33% correction, people could actually get a decent entry point. I do think that's a possibility. Ethereum, and on the way up, very frequently, even in relief rallies, likes to trade in these very tight ranges and just grind upwards and just slowly take out resistance. Now, what has happened recently is we've taken out this key resistance level of $1,800, between $1,760 and $1,800. And you see we initially got resistance here multiple times, and then we shot up through it, and actually we're continuing with another couple of green days afterwards. The longer we hold above this level, the less likely that it's a deviation. Meaning there's, a deviation meaning, I'll show you one right here, right? This was a deviation, right? A very tricky deviation too, where we popped up, it looked like we were breaking out, and then we started coming right back down. But the longer we hold above this level, the less likely it is that this is a deviation. And even if we come back down and we hold it as support, that's a fairly good sign that we could continue higher to take out or challenge some of these levels around $2,300 or $2,400. So it's good news that we've taken out this resistance level. I want to talk about why that's a resistance level. It's because as soon as price action drops below 1790, the shorts, or I'm sorry, as soon as price action goes above 1790, the shorts can start coming in and hide their liquidation points against this last local. This says local low, but it should say local high. This high up here. And that's a pretty protected resistance zone to hide your liquidation points. Just in case Ethereum goes on a big run, there's a strong chance we'll get some sort of a rejection before making a new high. And that's why shorts or shorters want to hide their liquidation point up there. Meanwhile, it's also the point at which you can no longer buy on 2x leverage and hide your liquidation point below this local low, meaning there should have been a fair amount of buy pressure drying up in this region. And you can see it did initially. The shorts came in, the buys left, but now we're seeing buyers not care about keeping their liquidation points below this local low, right? They're saying, no, the market is essentially saying, we don't think Ethereum is going to drop below $881, right? This local low. The market is officially saying, at least from a leveraged long positions traders perspective, the market is telling us we don't think we're going to put in new lows because we are willing to buy Ethereum on 2x leverage above 1790 or 1760. So that's what the market's telling us as of this moment. Obviously, we could come back down, challenge the support level, and have another little battle here between the longs and the shorts, and then see who wins before we take a trip in either direction. But this is a point to keep an eye on. So far, so good. It looks bullish. Don't be surprised, though, if we come back down to test that level. Now, I want to give the bullish perspective for Ethereum. Let me zoom out here and get rid of those long and short margin pressure levels. And I want to show people what happened to Ethereum when Bitcoin's net issuance was cut in half the last two times. Keep in mind, this is Bitcoin's. This is to Ethereum. This is an exogenous factor. Right? Bitcoin's supply getting cut in half has nothing to do with Ethereum's tokenomics. However, when Bitcoin's supply net issuance got cut in half, we saw a bull market for Ethereum and we saw a bull market for the rest of cryptos twice now, really 3 times. But for the last 2 market cycles, we've had very strong bull markets sparked by the Bitcoin halving. This is what Ethereum did in a Bitcoin halving when Bitcoin's net issuance was reduced by 50%. Not even Ethereum's net issuance. Now we have a situation where the second largest cryptocurrency, Ethereum, is having its net issuance significantly reduced to the magnitude of roughly 3 Bitcoin halvings. And it's going to go deflationary, and it's probably going to happen around September 15th. And if everything goes well, you actually have an endogenous net issuance decrease for Ethereum. And if this is what happens when we see a net issuance decrease for Bitcoin, what do you think is going to happen when we see a net issuance decrease to the tune of 3 halvings, 3 times as severe as a Bitcoin halving to Ethereum? Now, I am not saying that Ethereum is going to $200,000. I'm not saying it's going to $40,000. Obviously, these price projections or these fractals get way out of hand really, really quick when you're on a logarithmic chart. You the rapid price appreciation that we see in a bull market after a Bitcoin halving. And what we're seeing now is like multiple Bitcoin halvings, but it's for Ethereum. It's specific to Ethereum's token supply. So I'm not worried about global macro when it comes to Ethereum in particular. Yes, I do think that global macro, inflation, CPI, wars between China and Taiwan, wars between Russia and Ukraine, prices of oil, all of that can affect the crypto market and risk assets. But I don't think that is enough of an exogenous variable to bring down a repricing of an asset based on tokenomics. It's very difficult It would like if Amazon did a reverse stock split and just cut their supply of stock in half overnight, the stock would double overnight, right? So when you start tinkering with the actual supply of a cryptocurrency, as well as the issuance or the incoming supply of that, it's very, very difficult for it to not, regardless of external factors, it's very difficult for it to not reprice to the upside when the supply is going down. Not only that, I'm beating a dead horse here with these two other points. With Bitcoin halvings, all it is the decrease in net issuance. But that net issuance is still being sold to miners who have to turn around and sell it. Miners are forced sellers of Bitcoin. The Ethereum merge is removing forced sellers from the market, right? Ethereum miners right now are forced sellers of Ethereum. That goes away. There will be no more forced sellers of Ethereum in the market post-merge. Everything goes well. Additionally, we are adding additional demand to Ethereum because it will then be considered eco-friendly and ESG-friendly. So we're adding additional addressable market and additional demand to the market. And I think a lot of people right now who are worried about global macro are going to get caught off guard if we see one of these bullish scenarios play out where Ethereum does challenge all-time highs. We're a very short period of time away from the Ethereum merge. And funnily enough, obviously to the Bitcoin halving, we saw Ethereum and Bitcoin in the market spill off to a great degree, right? As we've seen Ethereum spill off to a great degree. So this, from the bottom here, pre-Bitcoin halving, this was a, if I can measure this, roughly a 47x, 50x. From this low, I mean, just don't be surprised. Don't be caught off guard. And I'm not saying I hesitate to throw out price projections because it's almost a little bit futile, but would you really be surprised with a 5 to 10x? A 5x from $900 would be $4,500, not even at all-time high. A 10x would be around $9,000, right? I just don't think a 5 to 10x is out of the question. Am I saying that, hey, Ethereum's a for sure layup, slam dunk, 5 to 10x? No. I think there's a realistic scenario that, hey, we're still in an elongated bear market. We go up. Maybe it's a buy the rumor, sell the news event. I don't personally think it is. But maybe we go back to challenge these lows. That is a scenario that I am prepared for. But at the same time, I do not want to get caught off guard by being underexposed to something, to Ethereum as it goes into this point. Now, you'll be hearing a lot more about this in the next 2 to 4 weeks as we approach the September 15th merge date, tentative merge date. It could change. But there's going to be a hard fork. There's going to be a hard fork to something called ETH POW. And I'm not going to go over what exactly that means and entails in terms of, your assets and everything. But essentially, it's going to be similar to the prior Ethereum fork and the prior Bitcoin forks where Bitcoin moved from Bitcoin forked into Bitcoin Cash and Bitcoin Gold. Suffice it to say that the forks that are not supported trend towards zero, meaning that Bitcoin Gold and Bitcoin Cash are forks of Bitcoin, but the value of those chains and the value of those Bitcoin tokens, Bitcoin Gold and Bitcoin Cash tokens, are significantly lower. So there will be an opportunity to sell ETH, what is going to be called ETH POW, right? And essentially, if you believe that Ethereum, the merge chain, is going to be the main chain that everyone supports, it's essentially free money because all of your ETH and all of your ETH assets on the main chain are going to be duplicated over to ETH POW. There's some consequences of that are a little bit confusing. For example, all of your USDC and all of your USDT stablecoins will also be duplicated on ETH POW, but because Tether and Circle aren't going to support those stablecoins, they will essentially, or back them one-to-one, they're not going to be worth anything. However, the ETH POW token, much like Ethereum Classic, does still have some value. The ETH POW token could be worth something. It could be worth 5, 10, 15% of an Ethereum token. Meaning, let's say you have 100 Ethereum, right? And you get 100 ETH POW tokens on the new chain. You could potentially sell that for maybe 5% of the value of Ethereum. meaning you could sell that for maybe 5 ETH. So instead of, post fork, post merge, you could end up with 105 Ethereum if you sell your ETH POW tokens. Now, what that means is in preparation for this fork, a lot of people are going to be increasing their exposure to on-chain Ethereum, right? Because all of their Uniswap tokens on the merge chain are not going to be worth anything on the ETH POW chain, right? Because it's Uniswap, and Uniswap isn't going to have the liquidity and the support initially up front to hold any value. So what people are going to be trying to do is they're going to be trying to maximize their exposure to Ethereum, on-chain Ethereum, right? Not in exchanges. People are going to be withdrawing from exchanges, constricting the supply of Ethereum on exchanges, moving it into on-chain wallets like MetaMask or a Ledger wallet, right? Which can cause a short squeeze and a large demand pump for on-chain Ethereum, not wrapped Ethereum, just Ethereum. Leading into the merge, it is very beneficial to have as much spot Ethereum as possible, right? Meaning I believe a lot of people are going to be selling their Uniswap tokens, their Chainlink tokens, all of their altcoins for Ethereum so that they can get as much ETH POW as possible to turn around and sell for some sort of value, right? Because ETH POW tokens, go ahead.
That is a great point. I don't think I've heard anyone talk about that, right? Because essentially when you fork, they airdrop the new fork token to everyone that holds the original.
You can see just off of, the other tokens that have been Classic is in the top 20 as far as market cap.
Right.
Then you got the Bitcoin Cash is number 30 with $2.6 billion. Bitcoin SV at number 48 market cap with over 1.1 billion. So even if you were just to be in the top 50, I mean, that's just basically free money, right? So.
Right, exactly. It's free money, and what I believe could potentially happen is a really massive short squeeze, right? And a supply squeeze leading up into the merge. So what I would expect to happen is as people try to maximize their on-chain Ethereum to take advantage of this fork, they're going to be selling out of altcoins and they're going to be buying Ethereum. And they're also going to be moving their Ethereum off of centralized exchanges, because if your Ethereum is on a centralized exchange for the fork, that exchange has custody of your Ethereum, and they're just going to keep the ETH POW token, the ETH fork, for themselves, right? So you won't receive it. So everyone's going to be withdrawing from exchanges, reducing the supply of Ethereum on the exchanges, potentially causing a supply squeeze. Meanwhile, everyone's going to be wanting to buy Ethereum to take advantage of this fork, and that could cause a really, really big squeeze. And again, this is speculative. I'm not saying that Ethereum is going to squeeze here, but there's the potential for it based on this fork. That could cause a really rapid spike and squeeze of Ethereum and a subsequent dump as everyone sells their ETH POW for ETH or for dollars, right? And moves back out of Ethereum and into like their Uniswap positions or Ethereum-based token positions. So what we could see is a period of very high volatility leading into the merge of people buying ETH, pushing Ethereum's price up, squeezing the supply on exchanges, running the price up, right? And then turning around and just basically dumping it back, putting it back on exchanges and return to the normal. So I just wanted to make people aware of, hey, there's a scenario where things get really out of hand, and it looks like this ends up being a buy the rumor, sell the news event, but there's actually like logistical reasons behind why this is happening. So we could get a massive pump going into the merge, right? Followed by a dump by what I believe would be a 6 to 12 month bull market for Ethereum, simply based off of the token prices. But initially, over the next few weeks, I want to be very exposed to Ethereum here, because I think there's potential for a big squeeze up to some of these resistance levels up here around 3,000 or even $3,800 if things get really speculative and out of hand, and people are really trying to take advantage of this fork. Again, just a scenario to be aware of, not something that I'm saying is going to happen with 100% certainty, but it's nice to be prepared for these things if you understand the dynamics behind how to optimize your risk to reward for this fork.
Hell yeah. Man, you just convinced me to go buy some more Ethereum right now.
Stop it. Stop FOMOing in.
I'm a FOMOer, bro. All right, I get excited. Yeah, that's interesting. I mean, so you're essentially saying if you get airdrop proof of work ETH, you think majority of people are just going to dump it for just regular ETH, or do you think there's enough believers in it to where it can sustain some sort of value, maybe crack the top 20? I don't know. What do you think?
Doubt it.
Unless something majorly goes wrong with the merge fork or like the main beacon chain, I don't think we'll see it be I think all the decentralized applications are going to be incentivized to support the proof of stake chain, because that's where all the liquidity and all the belief is going to be. What I think we'll see is miners try to support the ETH POW chain for obvious reasons, because it's proof of. And I think that they'll all switch over to ETH POW for maybe a few months to basically squeeze as much value as they possibly can out of a trending, chain. And yeah, I mean, it's just complicated because until they create bridges over to like until they create actual bridges from Ethereum to ETH POW, like the stable coins on that chain will have no value. Because they're basically duplicating every single asset. So everything over there is just going to trend, in my opinion, towards zero. And this is really the first fork of a major cryptocurrency that we've seen with a ton of TVL on the chain. What I mean by TVL is like there's a ton of decentralized applications built on Ethereum with previous forks, with Bitcoin forks, Bitcoin Cash, Bitcoin Gold, Bitcoin Satoshi's Vision, SV or whatever it's called. Yeah. There's miners that were supporting those other networks, but there weren't any decentralized applications that had to make the decision of which chain to support with their liquidity. I think it would be incredibly risky for Uniswap or any other decentralized exchange or decentralized application to say, oh, hey, we're going to go with Ethereum proof of work while everybody else stays on. Like, I don't see MakerDAO supporting ETH POW. And because of that, I don't think any of the main decentralized applications are going to move over to ETH POW. Will they maybe provide support for it 3, 6, 9 months down the road as they have time to build on it? Sure. But I don't think at the time of the fork, anybody's going to try to support it. So I think it's going to trend towards zero pretty quickly.
With the
but
old
even
forks,
if it's 5% of the value, that's 5% for free.
Yeah, sure. With the old forks, you're copying, with Bitcoin as an example, didn't have smart contracts. Even with the Ethereum Classic, it didn't have smart contracts. And now, with the level of complexity that you get from smart contracts, you're copying every contract there is when you fork an ecosystem that actively has smart contracts, because you can't just pick and choose what you're going to fork. You take the whole damn thing with you.
Right.
And so, on the long term, I don't think it'll be a major player or factor, just because of, as you mentioned, the diminishing utility that comes with the smart contracts and the dApps that are using those. And but you can't deny the fact that time and time again we've seen forks come out of nowhere and have value and keep value. So in no way, shape, or form would I think this thing will fork and then there's no chance for the POW as
there's always
you mentioned.
a chance,
yeah.
but
No, I'm just saying I think it's an actual real chance, because I mean, time and time again, if you just look at history, these forks keep value. That people are stubborn, they stay with it, and so it wouldn't shock me
when I get airdropped, I'm cashing that thing out.
It wouldn't shock me to see that in maybe the next bull run, all of a sudden getting some traction, and everyone's all like, "Oh, this is coming out of nowhere. It has no, it's a dead chain, whatever," and people just kind of trying to brush it under the rug. But yet alone, it just keeps, pumping. But I mean, at the end of the day, I think it's going to die. But
yeah, for sure. And I will say one thing for anybody who's like looking, hey, I want to cash out my ETH POW. Unless you really, really know what you're doing, please wait for proper documentation and the dust to settle a little bit before you just go over to ETH POW and start moving stuff around. This is going to be a huge attraction for hackers and exploiters. This is going to be, people are probably going to lose money playing around on ETH POW, trying to bridge stuff back and forth. You're going to see a website pop up that says, oh, bridge your ETH POW back over to ETH, and it's going to drain your regular ETH wallets, because hackers are going to be all over this trying to take advantage of people's greed. So please wait for proper documentation to come out, and tutorial videos and whatnot. Even if it means that you sell your ETH POW for 30-40% less money, or it's dropping, don't get greedy and make a mistake and get all of your Ethereum wallets drained because you're not being patient.
Amen to that. Forrest, you're always bringing the juice. We appreciate it. Anything else you guys want to add before we?
No.
send off into the weekend. We got a lot of packing. We're bringing our mobile studio down there.
Yeah, man.
So we're excited. Forrest, thank you so much again. As always, we look forward to meeting you in person, and enjoy your weekend.
Yeah, you too. We'll see you next week, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Tuesday.
Awesome.
All right, brother.
good.
Take care.
You also get to see a face behind Rocco, the man that you talk to every day.
Don Rocco, the Don of Las Vegas.
Yeah. Looking forward to it. It's gonna be fun.
Yeah, it's gonna be awesome. All right, brother. We will see you on Tuesday. Have a great weekend. Take care.
All right, take care. Thank you.
See you guys. Thanks. Bye.
I think it's very important that he mentioned if not to swap anything right away.
Yeah.
So always keep that stuff in mind. I mean,
Yeah, there is definitely, with all these new everyone trying to move stuff around.
Yeah, bridge this, bridge that. Just don't bridge anything. Wait. All right.
Bridges are dangerous, bro.
We want to give a special thank you again to our two guests, CryptoStache and, of course, our man, Forrest. Please, guys, go support them. Go follow them on social media. Go subscribe to their YouTube channels. Let them know the Sin City fam. We might be small, but we are strong like bull. I don't know. Guys, remember, next week, our schedule is going to be a little screwed up. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Monday, we will be traveling. We will probably do a little short live video from the airport. So make sure you have your notifications turned on. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, we're not sure. But again, having notifications set, we will try to post a like a 30-minute heads up community post on YouTube. Also, follow us at Sin City Crypto 1 on Twitter, and on Instagram, it's at Sin City Crypto _1. Make sure you follow us there. We'll be posting updates there, little highlights from our trip. So, yeah, that's all I got. Anything else you guys want to add?
No, that's it, man.
Paisan, roll the outro. Friends, family, friends of family, and family of friends, we want to thank you guys so much for ending your week here with Sin City Crypto. On behalf of myself, Robin, and the Don himself, we love you guys. Have an amazing weekend. We will see you when we see you. Peace. See you.